somewhere in the Rocky Mountains in Berthoud, Colorado. How are you all doing today? Don't know live or not, interestingly, but we'll pretend we are. I know we've got a couple like they're in our audience. Maybe you're in the audience and you're hearing me or seeing me. Would you indicate by saying, yeah, in the chat account? Please, that would be awesome. We have had all kinds of in our jam today, which is what we use as our tool here. And there's a good lesson. Didn't do a very good job. No, we did at sort of making sure that we were ready for it. And we need to rehearse ahead of time. We need to not assume that what it was ago is what we're going to see today. And because a whole new interface has been created for Webinar Jam, and log in, it's just me today. I'm the only one here. Fortunately, I have another speaker, and I'm going to put something in chat. And it says one of our viewers says, but she can see that I'm talking. Mark, if you wouldn't mind logging and saying that you're there. I'm going to write. Can't have anybody else on here right now because we can't figure out how even to use. Now we're lucky that we even got it. So this will probably be edited out as we do for the replay, which lots of views anyway. So there, just for people to indicate so on chat. It says, hi, Wayne, for Mark, I'm back. If anybody really is seeing this, would you please indicate so? Mark actually is in Bangladesh, so if it's going there, it's probably going another place. So we'll hopefully that'll. I'm going to wait here for a second, see if Mark comes back. Presentation set of slides gets to them. That'll be real interesting. My screen doesn't show anything like it used to anymore in our GM. So Deb, do you have any idea how I put these slides on? Because I don't have any idea.
It's a PDF. You need to open a PDF in a different program, and then you need to share your screen.
So I need to open a PDF here. And so Mark can see it. Well, Mark, you're seeing a total screw up. We'll edit this out because right now there isn't a whole lot of other folks. But I'm going to have to do some things.
You need to open it in something like preview on the Mac. Windows Media on the PC.
You should just open from the flash drive. It should open up.
Just go to it.
Webinar slideshow.
Webinar slideshow. Just click on it.
Okay. Don't think that'll.
What does it do?
My okay, now. So what do I do with it?
Get it full screen.
Kind of.
Get it as big as you can.
Okay. Okay, so now how do I share the screen?
Now go back to your webinar that's broadcasting.
Yeah, to the control room.
On the left-hand side, you've got a series of buttons.
Yeah.
There's a green one towards the top, which is your share button.
Okay.
Click that. You should see all your open windows. Go slideshow.
Okay. So I'm seeing a slide here, which about is she under Google Plus? Okay, it's getting interesting.
Is there a message at the top just telling you you're sharing it with everybody?
It says it's Google Plus is sharing, stop sharing, hide. Okay, I want to hide this probably. Okay, but I want idea who's out there seeing it or not as a PDF presentation, which is what you'd be seeing.
Online and sharing it over.
All right. Well, this is really so. All right. Well, everybody out there, what we're seeing today about what we've done, and now I guess that makes sense because it's not filming me.
Right.
This is going to be a really neat edit job for whoever's going to edit that. So the goal today, our move, and talk about the fact that CEED, the Center for Environmental Excellence and Development, is moved to and no longer do we have two locations, one in Loveland and one here at the ranch. Instead, we're fully here at the. You're going to see a series of slides that I'm going to go through here, which usually we would have developed to where someone else would be helping me with it. But right now, I do it myself because I'm the only admin here. Picture of our this location at the warehouse, and this is a picture of one of our intern system and some of our library stuff in the background. This is actually a very old slide when the system, when we were in our in the Berth in the Loveland area. And after that, we moved into another of our fish tanks move. And from that location, this is our system that we had gotten from PetSmart back about 6 years ago now. We use them in a number of different applications, but just couldn't use them appropriately out here at the ranch. Those at the Loveland location, and they're now being used by another group. This is what we call redneck moving. This is one of our trucks in the parking lot at the Loveland location, showing what it looks like to be packed up, to be on the move. And this is kind of funny because we drove this truck out to the ranch, and it's there. Cool that we cared about, all that good stuff. When we got up here, that flag was gone. So somehow it didn't, but everything else pretty much did. Now this is a picture taken at the ranch. There's our indication. I can actually here is it's the brown looking building. That's actually our office assistant and office manager, my assistant, Josh's car that's parked next to the office. The other container there is our break room, conference room, library. And we've been out here now since August 1st, and this is in the middle of November. So, that's 3.5 months. Pretty well settled in. And we're going to show you some slides to just show some pictures of different things around the location here. So this office with a picture of Wall of Fame, which if you watched our videos and see earlier, something we're pretty proud of. These are all our interns from the last almost 4 years. We're coming spring that have gone through our internship program, through the CEED Nurse the Planet program, and actually now doing something out in the green, sustainable, economic area. So I think I'm going to see a second. So this looks a lot like what our old office there. Plants of Fame, a close up on that, so I can go to the next slide back in the other direction. For Brian, just kind of turned around here and working in the office, and shows the people working. I actually was working there, wanted to get out of the view, so those in their office. We didn't get a close-up. It doesn't look like Brian of the wall that went in there that we didn't put on here. This is now a picture in conference rooms / area, and it's showing the conference table. We're at the right at the front of the container. It's not the widest place in the world. It works. You can see a conference table there that's set up for 5 rounds, a whiteboard. The AM is what we would use when we were in the other facility, narrower. And back behind that is actually our library is looking the other direction, back outside. Now you can in the background there. Again, the little break room, part freezer, microwave, coffee pot there. So really, all the same sorts of things as we had at the warehouse location. Actually shows looking out from that. Really all the pit area out here, and pit because this was an old mining area used in the actually the rocks that are used on the dam at Carter Lake, which is close to our location, out of this quarry. This is not the way that we quarry any longer. As you look at this picture, a couple of containers. I think we're going to see some pictures of those. You also see some stone that shows part of the diversity of the kinds of activities that we do here at the ranch, and specifically our which is going on up the hill. We might see a picture of that slides. These 2 containers are at the edges of greenhouse that we'll be building out in this pit. And there's a platform that we've already built, and there will be a poly covering over it. And we may see a close-up. And again, the stone delivered to a customer. So we do a diversion here now at the ranch. Here's a little bit more of a actually see the platform that I was talking about in between containers. Some pallet buildings that we've built at the back. That platform actually extends, and inside those are some portable benches that we can move out on the platform, and we can do all the same kind of we're able to do at the warehouse. There's actually a foosball table that's got a protected from the snow, and a pool table that you'll see in the picture there we could use to be sitting on. It's a left-hand side. So I'm showing you this because we do all the same sorts of things that we did previously out here at the ranch. And it just shows that if you get creative and you get economic, you can do all kinds of things in life. So next slide here. Inside that container, the side of the platform that I was showing previously, you can see right now for primarily storage. Inside there you see a lot of empty containers that things from. On the right-hand side, the shelving. This is a 40-foot long container. It's pictures actually sometimes to store something. It looks a lot shorter than that here in this picture. In the back, there's a desk. The left-hand side is set up to where we can have workbenches set up there that you see once we get into where we're going to have it stored. Actually, up in the front left, other place that we can put tools and other sorts of things as we begin to store them. Picture of a semi that will be used for our operations. I think we might have here in this that'll show how we've got that set up for storage, as well as for some workbenches, quality setup, and other things. Here's, you notice on the left-hand side is storage side. You see some workbenches back in the back, a laboratory bench. What you're seeing behind the decoys, actually, they're in a box there on the right, is a bench where we have all of our water quality materials set up. So in the near future, we'll be putting lights in here, electrical hookup can be used for all of that sort of type. This is from that we were just inside of, looking across the valley to the east office that's in front there. That we use on the property, different things. The container that we were inside, that's the break room and library. Just looking at it from a different perspective. Trailers that we use in our operations that are in the picture here. One of them is a gooseneck that we can actually haul on, and we take things back and forth from auctions and do. The other is actually a trailer that we can round in. And then you see the side of the container. Or you also see views back to a couple main storage bins that we can put the grain in that we use to produce fodder in, and we may have some pictures of that a little bit later here also. Here's a picture of one of the that we have historically grown microgreens. In the background, you see some of the alpacas that we have out here at the ranch. This is actually a group that was just moved down into the area that they're in. We might see a close-up of some of the pallet building, three-sided stalls. This group of animals was up on the hillside. So this is the opening side, the entrance to our third generation microgreen production system. And possibly that we'll see that this is looking a view of what it looks like in container when we're growing microgreens. So it's actually not the same one that you were just seeing generation that we have that's also up here. Container that was on the right hand side of the plant. Back up and actually show you that one. That is this one that you see, Ray. That slide that we, there it is again. And so you see the inside picture of right here. Deb's told me before, not the most in the world, because we're seeing her leaning over and her back's at part of the system. So these were microgreens growing. Probably the bottom on the top is the one that would be harvested today, and the other two are tomorrow and the day after that. This is one of our lodging units that we have for that are here, as well as interns and others. It's a relatively new 3-foot with a tip out that I think we might have some views on the inside of towards our ranch house and our water pump shed, where we get water for the entire ranch. It's taken out of an aquifer that's about 300 feet down and 5 feet, 25 gallons per minute artesian flow. As you can see, we had snow a week ago. Pretty miserable conditions then. It's actually beautiful out here this day. Inside the unit, where we've got a picture toward the kitchen area. This area has been some help extra ago. We haven't completely cleaned it yet. That's actually some areas to help protect. It's organic, by the way, that we use to help protect the water, gray water and black water storage for our system here. Just shows you how nice kind of our lodging situation is. And a bunk bed set up in the back with the bathroom on the right. We're down at our pond area, which all of the seeing in the last slides are about a quarter of a mile away, the pit area that you can see. And around in this picture is our quarry area. There's actually quarrying activity going, was being taken earlier. A little gazebo that we'll be hanging out in down by our pond with a dock. And obviously the pond has ice on it, right, which is very unusual for this time of get ice until even late December and into January, and we're near the middle of November. You can see those are actually benches around our fire pit. It's actually much more than just a fire pit. It's a pit. And we've actually had bonfires here that are so big that we've had to get fire permits for them. And we've had that have radioed down and saying, it looks like there's a potential forest fire going there. Really very. This is now looking from towards some of our smaller ponds that we have. We actually have 10 ponds along our drainage here. Some real extensive renovation on this fall. A year ago, we had very extensive floods, 1,000-year type floods in the area. So these ponds had a number of quite a bit of sediment and have caused them to set So we decided it'd be a great time this fall to go in and dig them out. So you're seeing on top of piles of bottoms of these ponds that we have dug out, dispersing into our norm area that I'll talk about a little bit later. And we should have had them moved by now, except the weather stopped us from doing that. And right now has been about tripled in size. It's probably about a football field long, so about that wide. So it's a little bit hard in pictures sometimes to get the perspective of size. This is looking pond from just a little different perspective, a little bit higher up, just to show you a little different. Now here's a little picture in the year. Actually, not taken that long before, as the vegetation, the leaves are already falling off of them. So this might be a week old, showing out towards all the different things that you saw in previous slides. And actually, as I look at this is actually taken a year ago, probably still this time of the year. Inside our building where our male Meccas live, and our ranger that's parked in front of it. And a lot like this, it was this green about a week in northern Colorado in the storm that came in. This is just of our alpacas out in an area that they're pastured in. This was clearly taken a little bit. This is a temporary pasture within. This is taken probably in the spring, right before shearing, because these boys lease on them, and it would have been prior to their shearing time. And seeing one again back to today. So we're seeing lots of, pretty clearly this was taken in our paddock area of where you were view. This is actually 3 different groups of animals in 3 different ones you see closest to us. There's another group that are like they might be with the same group that are in a differently another group that's farther up the hill in a area. You can see our pallet right here that we use. I think we have almost 40 ranch. We get a lot of interest from people to those that we disperse to them over time. We think this is an incredible sustainable farming tool that can be used. You can actually build these $160 in cost for all the materials to build them, for them that we can get to you for free if you just opt in on our site. This is actually now of our newest pallet buildings. The two to you in the picture here are less. We put up a temporary pin that you're seeing the gate going into it in between the 2 pallet buildings. And this is a group of males that we've moved up in the area where you were seeing in the previous slide, a group of new females in day before yesterday, and they're now occupying that area. Now have all of our animals separated by sub, where all the males are down in this area, and all the females are up above the road, except for a group of little babies, 5 little babes that are still that are up above. So we've made a move now that we've wanted to do for a long time. Also, another interesting thing in this picture that is another very economic, sustainable feature, which is a water tank heated. And I think we've been using it. It was in another pasture previous. Moved it up yesterday into this paddock area, which is farther away, is not being used right now. Is this water feature here? So this is a heated water feature, and that it'll hold about an ounce of water. And we have had it to where at 40 degrees we've had less than a quarter of an inch of it. You can see as you're looking at the picture that there's acetate on it. And you're seeing one layer of it. Well, behind that is actually corrugated in the opposite direction. And very accidentally, the plans for this out of Mother but the way we constructed it was not, they said, very accidentally. I believe that we get high levels of in between these two panes of acetate or plastic type of glass, because it actually create almost a prismatic effect in a lens. The sun actually gets magnified as it hits the black water is in. So a little bit like the way Thomas Edison invented, because I've read many times where he said, I didn't invent the light, I invented 10,000 ways in which I couldn't invent a light bulb, in which it failed. This is essentially a little bit of our attempt to do the same thing. Several other solar hot water tanks, and this worked the best for us. And it's been 7 years in the offing, and we'd love to show or help you be able to build something like that yourself. Same group of animals, looking at a little different perspective of them as older males that are in the same area, a little just different perspective, looking back up at that same container that we saw the picture of earlier, where it says Lloyd on the side. We had it open, and that's where the office in the far here. Another one of our storage containers that we actually store some of the things that we took out of the house, and then storage bins for grain. I'm going to actually, I'm not sure if I know how here, webinar jam real quick just to make sure that you guys are seeing this. Oh, I actually can look in that picture and see that. I'm going to just go back here and see. Teresa and Mark, are you guys seeing this? And actually, yeah, I see that you are online, and these are both staff members of ours. Teresa and Mark is actually in Ireland, and Mark is in Bangladesh, and they're viewing this. They want to have been here to the ranch, so I'm going to say, guys, you learning a little more about Sky. So let's see if they get back in here. I think I have to actually go back though to the PowerPoint that I have here. The scroll through, correct?
Yeah.
The slide, but
Yeah,
I think I've got to be able to. It's interesting sharing. It says stop and/or present to everyone. Go back and continue through the slides. So the next one is, this is actually some of our moms and babies up in the area that they live in. We've got our brown baby alpaca, excited about. I believe that's gold, and she is one that we think is going to be young female for us as we begin to show her in the spring. Another little baby next to a black mom. Deb, so as there was next to her, that's a different color.
It's about 4 years
And I was just in the picture, so I'm not accurate about any of this. This is really quite a bit older animals now. We were just trying to in the pallet buildings, which you can cool they are for the animals. Tractor, again, an older picture, really up in an area to the right of you see in the picture here. This is an odd time of the year where it's really nice outside. This has been this unit where I have 18 chickens of 2 different generations. We're dispelling a lot of. We have 4-year-old chickens that will be for the spring that until very recently were still laying. We're not getting any eggs from them right now, but they laid about 3 years longer than chickens are supposed to lay in this kind of a situation. A little close-up of some of the stone from our quarry. Look how beautiful this is, and this is stone that can be used as all kinds of purpose. starting what we call a stone function, where people will be able to come and fill up the back with stone that comes from our quarry, or trailers, and out by hand. This is just an example of some stone that's laying, all of it, which could be used for structural purposes and other reasons. Another depiction of the bigger pieces. Interestingly, it looks like we've got a couple there that are about ready to fall up above, just up in one of the pile areas. Again, some of these pieces, the ones up in the very top, are quite large, and actually looking a little precarious to me sitting there. You see where that's at. Brian took pictures of these earlier. The bottom of these pieces are small enough that you could, a couple, 2 or 3 people could pick them up, go in the back of a pickup truck in a quarry, in a landscaping situation from the quarry. This is an inside of the greenhouse that is currently now used for alpaca, but this just shows some rulonic systems, strawberries growing in one of our vertical towers here. It's probably taken fairly early in the season. Of this, where these plants are just take up all of the volume of this room here. These systems out of here into our greenhouses that were at the warehouse. Look, now these are mothballed systems used again coming up in the near future. This is an outdoor system active outside of that greenhouse. Again, there are a series aquaponic systems here with a 170-gallon fish tank. There are 6 more that you just see on the left-hand side of the picture. These have been functioning for almost, they just finished their 5th season. And they produced here until just a couple of weeks ago, where we finally shut them down, knowing that the cold was coming. That's an ongoing system here at the ranch. This is actually another one that is a UVI type, University of Virgin Islands type raft-based system. This is one of our proud of David Brands, who is now out entrepreneuring on his own. And this is a basil plant with the root system going down into our deep water raft production systems. In the background behind him is our biofilter for that system, and the fish are actually in a tank that is you can see in the black behind here, where there's some covering over it. I'm going to actually skip back here and see just for a second and see if Mark and others have answered my email. And I'm so excited to finally see it in detail and learning a whole lot about the ranch. So actually, obviously, these are working, and we're getting close to the end of them here. Next picture is a garden that is again up above the greenhouse that you just saw, where David was at. This is again a couple of years ago. At this point, we had 80 different varieties of plants that were growing. You're seeing geraniums here. You're seeing some other flowering plants that are down at the bottom end of this picture. There's sunflowers in the background. There's beans that are on these elevated here. There's garlic and any number of other things. I think we've got another picture of that same garden area. Yeah, here's the elevated raised beds. Again, lots of flowers, because we actually do create our own dyes for our fleeces from our alpacas. So you can see sunflowers in the background. There's corn over on the right-hand side, more sunflowers, and then any number of different plants of different varieties throughout the picture. Again, elevated garden that we have here at the ranch. Today, and this just shows what we're going to be doing this next spring. This is an area of about, you go from where this picture is taken down to where the trees start in the picture, 3 acres. And that's an area we used to call the Pond Boys enclosure that is now not being used. And we're going to be creating a market farm there. And it'll be very much like Jean-Paul Fortier has up in Canada on an acre and a half. We're actually going to be looking for partners to work with us on this, and this whole area will be turned into a to the right of this picture is where the pond is that you saw in a previous picture. What we do here at the ranch is dog training. This is actually a picture of a retriever working on a different retrieving setup. And it's what we do on a regular basis. I think at our peak, we've had 150 groups out here on different days throughout the year. And every year we have at least 100 or more that come out during all but the very tough part of the winter season. This is just another picture of one of the dogs that was in a training setup. Don't know exactly, but I think I know who that is. Is that Rascal, actually?
No.
No, is that Hemi? Hemi is unfortunately deceased now, but he was a very cool guy and had one of the things that's a problem with golden retrievers. He had cancer and died very young. It's kind of probably a mixed bag picture because that was her dog and he was pretty special. So another picture at the arena hunting situation. We're out hunting this particular day. This is some really dear friends, very strong supporters of seed. Son Kevin. This would be a quite interesting picture for him since Kevin is now a graduate, actually out of graduate school and working for BMW back in South Carolina. In their process, and I think he was a freshman in high school. Mick Anderson is actually also in this picture, the fellow on the left. Mick is now a very senior director with Ducks Unlimited on a national level on the national board. And this was taken, again, about this same time of the year, looking across our valley after these guys had been deer hunting. So very cool picture. I haven't seen this one in a long time. And then here's a picture of a bee pollinating a plant that we have going on here on a regular basis. Pretty cool. And then we are looking to do partnerships. And one of the things we're going to want to do is a beekeeping partnership. And the reason that we want it to be a partnership is, one, we don't have the time to be doing it, and yet we have all the resources. We actually, it's down the road about 2 miles, and she has been clearly telling us for the last couple of years that she could enhance her business and we'd be able to have an amazing honey production business because she has a hive that's down the road, and the two would actually work together. Right now, it's difficult for her to be doing that because of that. I'm going to end here by actually walking around a little bit and just show you a little bit about what we have here in the ranch headquarters building. So I'm going to switch back to my slides, and I'm going to stop the screen sharing. And that comes back to me. So I'm actually going to go and walk around till I can get some help from Deb and Brian. So Brian's going to pick up the webcam, be a little juggling around. But as you look back behind now, that's actually an area. You can see a real nice conference table, and we'll walk in that direction. We'll probably edit this to some extent. We do this. You can see we've actually got lighting and everything set up for our webinars. But on the corner here, and Brian's going to take the camera back over to the right. This is how we're set up to be doing. We have a very, very nice conference table, huge, long, 4 feet wide. You can see we've been doing some depictions. Table here, just wanted to show you something that we're kind of proud of. The fleeces, that one of them that was the tops at a recent show that we went to. And then next to it is a white fleece that actually the black one's hard to see, but this is a really pretty, this is on an animal that we just acquired from back in Chickle Farms. I mentioned a group of females. It was one of them. She's called, her name is Breaking Bad. Brian, maybe you can even get a little closer there. The quality of this, just the fact that it looks just like snow, actually. my fingers over there. Just a really neat view of it. That's, and then Brian moves the camera. These are actually some starts that we're growing for the tower garden systems that we're going to be. I might actually change this so Brian can see it better. Brian can see what he's filming. So there's the start system picture of Sky down here that wants to go outside because he thinks I'm going to take him for a walk. Sky is our 12-year-old, the patriarch around here. We're going to walk a little bit further. I'm going to keep it to the air. And Sky's going to want to have a sunroom here off of the house that we're going to walk around the corner and get to. A couple of tower gardens out here had succumbed to the bad weather that we had last week. We're producing right now. And soon, we actually got the heat set up in here, and we've been monitoring it when it's been getting down to zero. It's actually, we're out in this sunroom. It's probably outside that is on top of that one tower garden. I'm guessing it's at least 70 degrees here. I don't know if you heard that, but that's our rooster crowing. A little bit over to the direction, Brian, is another tower, another system that we actually used to have in our kitchen. And it's made to be of furniture in a house. And there's actually a towel over it, but to where when we get it, I mean, what, Dad, for 3 years, it'll have a little tower in it and water cascade aquarium that'll be down. So that's pretty cool. You're kind of seeing outside. You can see the snow is laying, and we're going to walk back in now. And we'll start the system again. We'll edit this out, but for those watching live, you can see that the tag on my shirt sticking up in the air. But now we're moving over to the last tower garden, which is sort of a bad glare. Let's see if we can get it, Brian. There we go. There's the tower garden that's in our kitchen. It's in it right now. That's probably 2.5 weeks old. You can see growing there. Tower garden is a vertical aquaponic or you can actually see a couple of dog crates next to it, both of them that have a couple others of our dogs here. But just wanted to show you a little bit about what goes on, how we are here at the ranch. I can turn around and Brian, maybe just go take actually tripping over cords. So here's looking back into that conference room area. See that, Brian? Table again. We wouldn't sucker green or the, but that's that. And then lastly, you can just sort of get a view of what we do when we do our webinars. There's a picture of our lighting that we use set up. And then over here, we'll get the last picture will be of my working in. Pretty good view of that right there. Pretty nice, actually. And when you can just come over and sit right on that couch. That's where Sky is standing right now. So I'm going to love to have you come. Those of you that are in Ireland and Bangladesh and other, hey, get on over here and visit with us. And we're going to say goodbye from Mountain Sky and be with us in 2 weeks when we do our little. And please go in and watch the replays. Subscribe to us on YouTube and also on podcasts that we have on iTunes now. And we just thank you for being with us again in a couple weeks. Bye from the ranch. Mark and Teresa, why don't you quickly log in and tell me how it went? And I'm not going to stop the broadcast yet. I guess if I stop it, I'll be able to see it. Great to be at your webinar, Wayne, according to Mark. All right, well, I'm gonna make it go off broadcast, so you guys will be exiting here. But thanks, Mark, and we're going to get a huge audience on this at a replay, especially after Deb and Brian get it edited. We'll take out the walking around stuff, and thanks.